What's up, everybody? Week 5 Bills recap for you here. Buffalo falls, second time this season, 25-20 to Jacksonville. They had the London game this week. And these London games, man, I said it last week, I'll say it again, I'm not a fan of them. I get what the NFL's trying to do and broaden its audience and all that, but yeah, not a fan of them, and that's not me being the sore loser or anything like that. I've never liked the overseas games, so whatever, it is what it is. They're not going anywhere. NFL makes too much money on them, but I digress. But yeah, we'll look into it. Like I said, Buffalo dropped 25-20. Coming off of 3 straight weeks where they just absolutely blew their opponents out, dropping crazy points and crazy stat lines. This week was a little bit of a different story. Jacksonville played in London last week. They got to stay there all week. They got to, get themselves acclimated with the time zone and the time change and refreshed. And, I can make all those excuses for the Bills. They won't, but I will for them. A little bit of a disadvantage, I think. And, there's even a video floating out there right now of Roger Goodell saying they kind of wanted to see what, if there was any advantage to a team playing back-to-back weeks and staying there. And, yeah, there definitely was. I mean, that Jacksonville team looked fresh, looked ready to go. I mean, straight out the gate, they were moving the ball good. They stalled out on their first drive, but, after that, their offense just, man, they kept it going. And other than, a few turnovers on offense for Jacksonville, I mean, they looked in sync, and they looked like the Jaguars team I think that a lot of us thought we were going to see this season. Haven't seen it yet, but I think you kind of saw glimpses of it when they played the Falcons, and then, this week against Buffalo, that offense was moving. So, but if we're going to look at offense, as the Bills guy here, we're going to look at the Bills offense. They, like I said, they were very sluggish. They looked like a team that just flew across, the pond and weren't really ready to play. And sure, some of that is definitely a disadvantage as far as the coach doing it to them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. McDermott, from what I understand, I could be completely wrong here, so don't hold me to it, but from what I heard, he's the one that chose to leave for London on Friday for a Sunday morning game. So the Bills had less than 48 hours to, get situated and get acclimated and whatever else, goes into a foreign game like that. So, if that was something that McDermott chose to do and we had the option to go, right after our game last Sunday, then I would definitely throw some shade McDermott's way. But anyway, we'll get to the Bills' offense here. Very, very rough day. The stat line, like I said, says they scored 20 points, but man, you look at the first half, they started punt, their first 4 drives, and the first 2 of them were 3 and outs. And I mean, they just, some of it was obviously they were starting off slow, but some of it, I've said his name in every video this year, and I'll say it again now. Ken Dorsey. I mean, his play calling is either some of the greatest you'll see in the league, and then at other times, like this week, for example, it is just atrocious. And I don't know what the answer is for him. I've said it a few times. He can't get out of his own way. He refuses to adjust his game plan, his strategy, whatever it is. He's I don't know about him. But anyway, final stat line for the Bills. Josh Allen finished 27 of 40. He did end up throwing for 359 yards, 2 touchdown passes, 1 pick. And then he also had a rushing touchdown for the second straight week. He actually leads the NFL in total touchdowns. So for everybody that's you know, saying he's Mr. Turnover and blah 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 blah, well, he's also put the points up, so that's cool. Cool, that narrative. But the biggest jump or standout for me this week, as far as the Bills offense goes, is the running game. I mean, these past 3 weeks, the reason why the Bills have been so efficient on offense is they've been balanced. They've had a running game, and then on top of that, they've been going play action, and teams have actually had to honor the running game. So Josh has had big plays over the middle, and this week, I again don't know what Dorsey had game plan, but I mean, James Cook had 5 rushing attempts the whole game, and he finished the game with negative 4 yards rushing. Now, the negative part's obviously not on Dorsey. That's on the O-line and the blocking, but only 5 rushing attempts? Heck, Josh Allen himself had 4 rushing attempts. And, I mean, that's just, you can't have that. I don't get it. I mean, so Cook had 5, and then Latavius Murray and Damian Harris combined for 5. So outside of Josh Allen, the Bills running backs accounted for 10 rushing attempts the whole game. And again, this goes back to what I said in the first video. I feel like, I don't know if they get this feeling or what it is, but man, it's like if they don't come out of the gates hot on the ground, they just say, all right, screw it. We're just going back to the Josh Allen show. And you can't have that and think you're going to be successful in the league. So, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know how much of it to blame on, you know, the travel and all that, or if this was just part of the game plan or what. But, oh boy. But we will throw some good shade, I will say. I've called his name again in every video, as well as Stephon Diggs. Another game where he just completely went off, and he finished it with finished the game with 8 receptions, 121 yards, and a touchdown catch. I mean, this dude is like carrying the offense when the running games, you know, hasn't been there. I mean, shoot, I believe other than the week 2 game, he's went over 100 yards in every game. And everybody can say what they want, and everybody can have their own opinion on him, but man, this dude's been a baller this year. You know, if you go back and you look at the body language of the guys this past weekend, you know, everybody was deflated after some big injuries earlier in the game. We'll touch on that in a minute, but and then, you know, some of them, you know, very well may have been jet lagged and tired or whatnot, but man, Diggs was hyping everybody up, was trying to get the crowd going. Speaking of crowd, holy cow, Bills Mafia traveling across, shout out. But yeah, I mean, shoot, Diggs, I think, to me personally, I think he's the team MVP right now. Sure, Josh is the one that's got to throw him the ball, but to me, Diggs is the MVP of the Bills right now. We did have another receiver go over 100 yards. Gabe Davis had his first 100-yard game this year. 6 receptions, 100 yards even, and a touchdown catch. So Gabe's finally showing up, which is big, because Buffalo has been desperately needing that wide receiver 2 to step up. And you know, it hasn't always been clear that it's Gabe's position, even though everybody kind of gives it to him by default. But yeah, big game for Gabe. The one other note I'll say on the offense has been, where's Dalton Kincaid been? I've called his name the first 2 weeks, and you know, he had a couple big angry runs, and you know, looked like he was going to be a big factor for this offense. But again, I think this is going to fall on Ken Dorsey's shoulders. Like, why are we not utilizing our tight ends? I mean, Knox has got a few catches, but I mean, you traded up to get this guy. and you're not using him. And it's got that feel of last year. They drafted James Cook, and they didn't really want to use him. And I don't know if Dorsey's got like something against rookies or what, but man, I don't know. It's been very confusing to me. I know there's been a lot of fellow Bills fans on Twitter and Facebook and whatever, they've been saying, where's Kincaid? Where's this rookie that you jumped up to get? So we'll see. I mean, we're 5 games into the season, so obviously he very well could get incorporated coming up. So before we move on to the defense, I'll just go ahead and read off the total drive results. Like I said, they went punt, 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 and then ended the first half with a touchdown drive. And then coming out of the half, they go punt, punt, interception. Then the offense finally catches a little bit of fire, and then they go touchdown, touchdown. But by then, it's a little bit too late as the game kind of got out of hand there in the fourth quarter with ETN scoring that late touchdown. And then the Bills' offense ended with the laterals and all that. So, but yeah, we'll move on to the defense. Shout out to the defense, man. I said it last week. I should have said it the week before that too. But man, this defense has been balling out. Definitely a new energy found, I think, with Sean McDermott calling the plays this year. Guys on the defense, Leonard Floyd, 2 more sacks this week, puts him at 5.5 total on the year. I mean, what a big pickup signing that was this offseason. And then A.J. Epinesa, he also ends with 2 sacks and a forced fumble. And talk about a guy that has just come into his own this year. I mean, he was kind of labeled in some Bill circles as a bust coming into the year because, he really hadn't had that one performance where he's like, he was definitely the guy we thought he was. But, yeah, so far this year he's been balling out just like a lot of the guys on the defense have. I touched on it a minute ago, injuries to Buffalo. Big blow. Matt Milano, they're saying he has a fractured leg. And then I think they're still waiting on the official MRI results, but they're fearing there may be an MCL or ACL damage, which would obviously end his season. So broken leg, there's a chance he comes back for a playoff run, but yeah, anything in the knee, you're done for the year. So, I mean, that's absolutely just a terrible blow, especially 1 week ago we lost, Trey to the Achilles, and now this week we lose Milano, and then we also lost Daquan Jones, suffered a torn pec in the first quarter shortly after Matt Milano went down. So, I mean, this defense is hurt. We're down bad, and as I'm doing this video, it was just announced that the Bills are signing legendary player Josh Norman to the team. So, signing him to the practice squad. I'm sure he's just a depth piece, but that's kind of funny. I'm sure everybody's going to be jumping up and down in the Bills inner circle. So, we'll finish up here with some game notes. Definitely one-sided when it comes to a lot of these penalties. That was kind of the story of the game, and it was not a good look internationally for the NFL. There was definitely a lot of ticky-tack calls, and I'm not even going to get into that because we could sit here for an hour. But they ended up with Buffalo got flagged 11 times for 109 yards, and Jacksonville got flagged 8 times for 56. So, I mean, almost 20 combined penalties for the whole game is not a great look. Time of possession, Jacksonville won that pretty handedly. Jacksonville had the ball for over 38 minutes, and Buffalo had it for just over 21 minutes. Total plays, this is the one that's just totally lopsided. Jacksonville had 82 total plays compared to Buffalo's 54. First downs, again, Jacksonville 29, Buffalo 18. Third down efficiency, that was another big story. Jacksonville was 10 of 18, while Buffalo was 5 of 12. So not a pretty day for the Bills, and it was kind of a game that I think a lot of people that wanna, for some reason, just bash the Bills, they kept saying that this was going to be the letdown game after a big Miami game, and maybe they're right. Maybe it was a travel thing. Whatever it was, Buffalo sits at 3-2, falls back to second in the division, which it's week 5, so congratulations, Miami. You're the division leader again. So, but hey, we live to fight another week. Buffalo, home game next week. At home, Sunday Night Football. Giants coming to town. Brian Daboll returns. Not sure who the quarterback is going to be for the Giants, but we very well may have a Tyrod Taylor reunion in Buffalo too, which would be kind of a little bit of a deja vu with Daboll. Daboll calling the shots and Tyrod back in Buffalo, so it'd be pretty cool. But anyway, on to the Giants. London game's behind us. Hopefully Buffalo doesn't have to go back to London for another 7 years. So anyway, we'll see y'all next week. Go Bills.